queue up a video that I wanted to play real quick. And I know you guys are used to me coming in and doing my language learning. We can still go over a little bit if y'all want to, but um, a video was sent to me, and I kind of felt some type of way about it because people have been warning people for a while about this happening. Boss say, Denise, you didn't have to come in here. That's why I put up a thing saying it's not going to be language learning. I hope all is well with you, with your 75 hard. I've been watching y'all rocking out. Mm, I'm trying to see if I can pull up this video. Joshua Gabriel, Boss Lady Denise beat you this time. Boss Lady Denise beat you this time. Yeah, I wanted to queue up this video. A lot of people don't like for me to talk spirituality, but that's why I put up the warning to let you guys know that this is not going to be that type of live with the language learning. Yeah, I know it's going good. I see you. I see you. I was like, you know what? Now that I think about it, that would be hard to stay consistent with that type of regimen because it's not just working out. It's kind of like a self healing. Um, then it's like you have to read. You have to kind of. You have to stick with a certain plan for X amount of days. You have to exercise 45 minutes. Oh my goodness. Patty's Kitchen Garden More. I was just watching your channel because I had you playing. But I wanted to come and talk spirituality, actually. And I wanted to discuss how some people will write you off when you're clearly just speaking what is true. Y'all don't have to stay in here if this is not your type of thing or whatever, but it's just on my heart to talk about. So someone sent me a video where this guy was riding, and I can't find the video now. This guy was riding, and his Cybertruck just completely stopped. Yeah, I always got you running. Even if I'm not saying anything, if I see you're going live and I'm busy, I'll just put you up on the TV or put you on the tablet and let you run, and I listen to your conversations. Miss Patty's from Patty's Kitchen Gardening More, y'all. When I tell you she is so inspirational, um, just so much wisdom. Sometimes she just sits at the window and she's just telling you about her day or things she's gone through. She is so encouraging. Y'all go check out Patty from Miss Patty from Patty's Kitchen Gardening More. She is awesome. Awesome. Just to have on the screen, like I said, just to have on the screen if you're just cleaning or something like that. If you want to have somebody positive to listen to, somebody who's going to keep it real with you, because that's my thing. I like when people keep it real with me. Um, yeah, that's the channel to watch. And she's not afraid of admitting wrongs, like not wrongs, but like mistakes. Miss Patty is the type where if she sees somewhere where she could have did something different, like maybe with her plants or something like that, she'll say, "Now I was gonna try this, but I'm gonna try this." She's not gonna come at us like she's just perfect at everything and it's everything just. She gonna let you know one of her figs didn't make it. How about that? Some people will hide stuff like that. You was here. Oh yeah, that's right. Because I saw you went to um you met Fatima. You met Fatima and I saw you was taking the long country road. Yeah, I told you I'd be watching. Even if I don't say nothing, I'll be watching y'all. So here's the thing. A few years back, a group of us, we were trying to tell people that these Cybertrucks and these Tesla cars is not a good idea. And a group of friends that I hang around, We all have this thing where we have dreams and see things. So, one of the things that I kept saying was it's more of a control thing. Mm-hmm. And some of my folks are from Columbus. So, yep, you was in the country town. But so I kept saying it's gonna be a control thing. It's gonna be a control thing. Everybody was like, "No, you just tripping. You're reading too much into it." But no, that's actually what I kept seeing every time someone mentioned this particular name or this car. Then I started digging deeper and I started researching because that's how I am. If I start getting dreams or start seeing things, I started looking into the names. I started looking into who created it, when it was actually created or whatnot. So I started going down the rabbit hole and I started thinking the same thing with the credit cards and things. It's it's a sense of control because at any moment, if they really wanted to stop you in your tracks, they can stop your car. They can. And then while I was thinking this, I actually was looking at Home Alone, and I remember I was looking at Home Alone 2. And I remember in the movie when the guy really had an eerie feeling about Kevin and he went to run his credit card. Hey, Tam Tam! He went to run his credit card and it read declined. So the guy was trying everything he could to stop this kid. And I started thinking then too, I was like, so if they really, really wanted to find somebody and they knew what card they was using or whatever, it's a way that they can get into the system and just put it's declined or card stolen or something. Y'all, this video that was sent to me, this guy was riding down the highway and on his screen in his Cybertruck Tesla, I don't know what to call these cars, but the ones that look like a spaceship or something. It stopped and it had on the screen that it, it was no longer in service or something like that. They locked it up. You mean to tell me they can lock up your car from somewhere else to the point where you can't go anymore, no matter where you are? That's so dangerous. He was on the highway and his car just locked up on him to the point where he couldn't even move it out of the way. So that means if they want to repo your car or if they feel like you have a warrant out for your arrest or anything like that, they can just lock your car. Same thing with your card. I feel if they really wanted to find somebody, because I do think sometimes they don't go the extra mile, but that's neither here nor there. If they really wanted to find someone that was doing something really, really horrible, I feel like they can find them and stop them in their tracks. By satellite. Okay, so it's by satellite. Thank you for putting that in the chat, by the way. Um, so this video that I was looking for, but now all of a sudden I just cannot find it. It was this guy on the highway, and he actually did a video, and he was showing the screen of his truck shutting down on him, and people were in the comments saying like, "Did you miss a payment?" Or it's something you did. Forget all that. The thing is, that's dangerous to be just driving along and your stuff just shut down. It didn't even give a warning or anything. So what if the cars behind him would have been to the point where they couldn't stop or anything could have happened. It just so happens it wasn't like that type of incident where they were just going full speed. Okay, so that was one incident. Then I saw another video where they were saying that it's getting to the point where AI is going to be taking over a lot of things. So I remember a few years back, it was, it had to be about 8 years ago. I remember going into the store and I saw these machines going around, and somebody said that the machine was cleaning the floor. But I looked and I said, no, it's doing something else because it had a little light that was like doing like it was scanning. So someone else that works there said, oh, it's taking inventory. So the person who told me it's taking inventory, and she was laughing at me, she thought it was hilarious, and she works there. So I'm looking at her. I was like, you don't find that suspicious? You okay with this? And she was like, girl, it made my job easier. And I'm thinking to myself, I didn't say anything till I got to the front, but the whole time I continued shopping, I'm thinking to myself, she don't find that suspicious that she works here, and now there is a machine doing something that a worker can be doing. Cause I know when I was working in retail, it was the worker's job to do inventory. Not only did we have to do inventory, we had to take the things that had already been on the shelf, we had to move those up to the front, and the new items that came in, we had to place those to the back, so hopefully the shoppers would grab the older product to get that on out the store, and then grab the new items are in the back. So we had to make sure we knew exactly how many it was. We had to know how many were in the back, and we had to keep inventory that way. So when I got to the front, this young lady who's always there, because I shop in the morning, y'all. Somebody told me I shop when the old people shop. Well, so be it. I guess I'm old in because I go in the morning. I don't like dealing with a whole bunch of people. So this lady, she was so used to me because I come in the morning, same time, pretty much same day. And I said, I didn't know y'all had the machine scanning to do inventory and cleaning at the same time. And she said, yes, girl, there go my job going down the drain. And I was like, that's what I was thinking. That's what I was thinking. It's the jobs. The jobs. I wouldn't be too happy about these machines taking over when this is where you work. This is how, put it like this is how kids learn how to work in when they're teenagers and they get these summer jobs. Why would we take the jobs away that can help give them that independence? I know when I was younger we had to get a work permit, and I don't know how many people remember those, but I don't think they do those anymore. But when I was 15, I wanted a job really bad, so I had to go to my counselor at school, and I had to basically prove that I was keeping up with my schoolwork, and I had to agree that I wouldn't work over a certain amount of hours through the week, and you couldn't work past a certain time also. So when you got these work permits, it allowed you to work in a work setting, learn how to do an interview, learn how to follow directions, learn how to do different tasks at once without feeling overwhelmed because they would start you off with small things. And when I saw these machines doing the work in the store, it really made me think of that. Like, what about the young ones, the 15, 16-year-olds that just want them a quick little summer job? All they got to do is come in and sweep the floor, and keep track of the items when they come onto the store floor, on the floor, from the back, and just keep track of how many are on the shelf and things of that nature. That gives them a sense of independence. Now, what are they going to do? And then, not to mention people who have had health issues. They like to find them a little part-time job so that they can stay busy, things of that nature. So now we're going to take that away from them. People who are trying to get back in the workforce after being put down for whatever reasons, um, so on and so on. So me and the girl at the front, we were just saying like, yeah, like it's gonna start with this and it's gonna end up with something else. Mind you, this was like years ago. So eventually, one morning, I went into the same store, and the whole front area looked different. And I was like, what happened? For those of you that may want to know, it was in Walmart. So I went in Walmart one week, and it was just the same as it always have been. And then I went in the next week, and it was like sectioned off and roped off, and the the register section looked totally different. Come to find out, that's when they installed the self checkout. Self checkout. Me and my sis, we joke about this all the time. I be like, now if I'm gonna be doing self checkout now, I need for them to give me a discount at the end when I scan all my items and I have checked myself out. I had to find everything myself because y'all got machines on the floor now instead of people. How about give me a little discount at the end? How about that? That would be so nice. But I started to notice when they did the self checkout sections, one on each end, you started to notice that there were no longer as many cashiers up front. You may have one person manning the self checkout area, which may be like maybe 6 to 8 registers right there, and it'll be one person standing there. I know, instead of the price increase. Okay, that's what I'm saying. Since I gotta find my stuff by myself, get my stuff down by myself, come up here, check my stuff out, bag it up. How about cut down on the price? How about that? That would be instead of going up on the price. How about bring it down a notch? Cause I had to do everything myself. Okay, so then I go to the same girl. That I call her the Saint girl because every time I go to this Walmart, she got on Saint stuff, and I just we used to go back and forth because our teams. But I went back to my Saint girl and I said, "Weren't we just talking about this?" And she did like she didn't want to discuss it. She was like, "They can't, they cannot, discuss that or whatever." And I was like, "You ain't gotta say nothing to me, girl, but I see it. I see it." It started with a machine going around and like buffering the floor or something, but it was nobody sitting on the machine. It was just a machine going around on the floor, buffering the floor, and then they stuck like this pole thing on the machine and a little laser light. Then it started going around the floor with this little laser light thing, and it had like a little screen at the top. So, um, anyway, so it's like it starts out small, and that's the whole point I'm getting to, y'all. These things start out small, they creep their way in, and then it turns out to something just too big to handle. And that's what I wanted to mention about spirituality. It starts out small where people start to feel okay with disrespecting one another's beliefs. It start out small, and then it just turns into this big ball of disrespect, this big ball of um, arrogance. Uh, you name it, you name it. So I'm the type of person where I don't like to disrespect anybody's belief. You respect me, I respect you. It's a two-way street. But I've always been considered as the weird one, the nerdy one, which I'll take that now. Now that I'm in my 40s, I'll take it. But I have noticed through my years that everything always starts out with a little, just to see if you can handle it, see how much you could take. Just like when people joke with you sometimes and they put a little laugh behind it, or they're teasing you or they're joning you or whatever you want to call it, and they'll put a little joke on it and make it seem like they're just joking. When they see that you're okay with that, then it goes on and build up on it. They start getting a little bit more disrespectful. They start getting a little bit more bold in the things that they say to you and do to you. And it just gets bigger and bigger. And then when you react to the disrespect, you'll be seen as the bad guy. So the same thing with these Cybertrucks, Teslas, machines in the stores, cameras all around the streets. But if somebody get kidnapped, nobody see nothing. But y'all can send a ticket through the mail if somebody run a light, but you didn't see Susie getting kidnapped after she got off the bus. I'm not understanding that. I'm not understand. The math ain't mathing. The math ain't mathing. Well, part of that is not computing. Anywho, it always starts out with something small. It always started off with a little bit of disrespect, a little line of oh, how can I word it? Sometimes people will do things and they will make you seem like you're the bad person because you noticed it. You caught it. If someone was coming here now, like someone just came in my chat and called me the N word, I just hit the thing and kept it moving. But if I was to get on here and go off, I'll be seen as the angry black woman. You see what I'm saying? Like people would do little things here and there, just like with the music industry. The music industry, they started out with little small songs here and there where they was kind of hinting on uh sensual things, and then it just progressed and progressed and progressed. Don't get me wrong, I am from the land of the freaknik, so I'm not trying to say that I ain't never heard no raw music. I heard raw music, but it was the way it was snuck in there, little bit at a time. When I was growing up on the radio, they didn't say certain words, they didn't say certain things, but it started to sneak its way in there. And then you could turn on the radio in front of your kids, and you have to turn it down. Like, oh boy, they playing that on the radio. Oh my goodness. Oh Lord. Um, if you have any type of morality in you, you know it makes you jump as a parent because you're like, oh Lord, I ain't wanna have that playing around my kids. And then on the TV, certain things just start sneaking its way in. It used to be certain things they couldn't do on the TV or to shut the whole production down. They will automatically shut the camera off, turn the camera, something. Now you can see anything on the TV. You can see it all. And people will look at parents nowadays and say, you're too strict, you're too mean. No, it's protection. It's protection. And that's what I'm here for as a mother. I'm here to protect mine. So if I see things are getting out of hand, or if I see that, if I know my child better than anybody. I know my children. I got 7. I know my children better than anybody. So if I feel like my children ain't ready for this, me as a parent, I should be able to say, no. But now the world is getting so mixed up and confused that they feel like they can tell the parent, no, you if you say that you're toxic, or you if you do that then you're wrong. You're a bad parent if you try to control your child. Like what? Y'all, this world we living in is, when I tell y'all that veil has been lifted, it has been lifted. Tam Tam said something this morning on her post where she was talking about how it's after our children. It's after the children. Because I'm just going to be honest with you. I'm one of those mothers where if I see your child out there running in the street and I know a car can come, I'm going to grab your child and pull him out the street. So I'm going to say the children. Because I feel like, hey, we got to pray and cover all of them. It's after the children. It's after the children's free thinking, and which goes back to the jobs that are being taken and everything. It used to be so easy when you was young to get a job just during the summertime, just working in the library or just working at a call center, working in an office somewhere. Or it used to be where you can go to a hospital and you could be a candy scribe. You can volunteer at the hospital, um, maybe 2 or 3 days out of the week, just passing out material to the people in the hospital or something like that, or just shadowing someone. Now it's to the point where you can't even shadow someone. There is they're kind of sort of going around, but they're directly but indirectly hitting our children. And I'm talking from a spiritual standpoint. They have made the children think that having something computerized or automatic is the way to go. And we are the generation that's not taking no mess. We are the generation that doing this, and we're the generation. No, y'all the generation that are being led astray. Because if you're riding in a car and people have warned you, this is not good, this is not safe. If you're riding in the car and that car can shut down on you because you didn't do what somebody else wanted you to do, or you didn't pay what somebody wanted you to pay, it can just shut down on you with no warning. If you're working on a job and you feel like you're able to grow in that job, you're learning how to manage your money. You're learning how to do multiple things at one time. You're just learning. You're growing. You're becoming more independent. You're becoming an adult. You're proud of yourself, and then all of a sudden, a computer comes and takes your job. Then what? Y'all, we have to stay prayed up. It's directly but indirectly. It's directly but indirectly hitting our children, hitting the children, the youth. And when Tam Tam put that in her post this morning, I was like, she hit it right on the head. We have to not only stay prayed up, but we have to also keep speaking up. Because the thing is, they want you to be silent. They want the truth tellers to be silent. They want the people that seek out information, real information. I'm the type where I love the truth, but I want to see hard evidence. I want to see where you get this answer from. That's just me. It always have been me. But it's going after the children. It's making the children feel like you know what's best, but the people that are older than you and have been through more and want to see you grow and prosper, they know nothing. You know everything, which I know that's like a teenager thing where you feel like I know what I'm doing. I know what I'm talking about, but it's never been to this extent. I do not believe, because there always have been something in the back of your mind that be like, I ain't gonna take it that far now. I ain't gonna take it that. Y'all, it's to the point where they are telling the kids now, they are telling the kids to depend on their devices. They want them to depend on their devices. And me being in my 40s, I'm trying to tell the next generation, don't always depend on your device. And you know, I'm not saying like I'm perfect, because I remember when I was growing up, my grandmama used to always tell me, learn your Bible now, baby. Learn your Bible now, baby, because it's going to come a day when you might not be able to have a Bible on you. It's going to come a day when the enemy might try to use a scripture on you and you don't have a scripture to go back at him. She used to always say, the devil know the Bible better than some of these Christians. So I'm not saying like it's not going to be any rebellion or anything like that. Kids are going to rebel. But I'm trying to stay focused on the fact that this spiritual warfare, it is real, and people are trying to scan over it like it's nothing. People are trying to scan over this like um it's just a bad cold or something that'll go away. It's not going to go away. It's not going to go away. It's only going to get worse. You have somebody stuck in the middle of the road saying the car just shut down on me. I don't understand what you're saying. But I just wanted to come in here and speak because that's another thing that's being attacked now. Like they don't want you to speak up. They don't want you to say anything. It's time to speak up because in the past when we have tried to tell what's going on, what we see, what we see could possibly happen from this, laughed at, talked about, told we were conspiracy theorists and all of that good stuff, which I'm down for a good conspiracy theory video. I will watch those all night if you let me. However, sometimes it's always a little bit of truth in there, so you have to do your own research. But when I tell y'all those videos that was uh sent to me, I just kept thinking to myself, so now do you get it? Now do you understand what we were trying to say? Don't always depend on these gadgets. I don't know what it is, but nowadays people look at you crazy if you say you want to walk to the store. What you mean you want to walk to the store? I just want to walk. Just want to walk to the store. Now they feel like you have to depend on something, some gadget, some machine to do the simplest things. Y'all, I have seen so many gadgets being sold that it's ridiculous. I saw a new kitchen thing and it had so many buttons on it. I already have the little steamer pot thing that already has different settings on it. Good enough for me. I don't need no more. But I saw some things that looked like it was from the Jetsons. I was like, who's gonna stand there and try to figure this thing out while I'm trying to prepare dinner? What? What? Why can't I just put it in the oven or put it in my steam pot? That's it. I don't need a bunch of gadgets because I found myself starting to go down that hole where I was just buying everything that seemed like it was new and more innovative. It was like okay, because I'm just running my mouth because my main thing is will they listen now? Will people listen now, or will they just keep going off into the darkness? But I caught myself at one time where I had to have every new waffle iron, every new quick cooking gadget, every sandwich press, every rice cooker, every new gadget that came out. I felt like I had to get it. It just seemed like it was gonna be the one gadget that I needed to complete my kitchen. Don't need it. Don't need it. But for some reason, everything is being shoved in our face like we need this, we need this, just like the computers in the store. We don't need self checkout when there's so many people around us that need a job. You have people that are telling you, I want to work, I want a job. So why do we have so many stores? Now it's in Dollar General also. I don't know how long I was in the hospital, but when I came out of the hospital, I was just like in a whole new world. I was like, when did Dollar General get self checkout? Y'all, that's one of those jobs where it could have been for someone who needed that that one little chance. That one chance. Thank you for the hearts. I don't understand why now it's okay to just have machines doing everything, computers doing everything. And now when you have people that are telling you like this can't be good down the line, this is not good. now you have the people who are being replaced siding with the I don't even know how to word it. Now you have the people that are being stopped from working, stopped from having their own, stopped from being independent. They're looking at you like you don't know me. You don't tell me what to do. I like this. It makes my life easier. You need a job. They have a computer mopping the floor. You need a job. They have a computer checking people out. When will people listen? It's deeper than it looks. This goes to a whole nother this goes into a whole nother space. Where I live, well, not where I live, but I want to say maybe an hour away from where I live, they have this whole like condo area and apartment area. The apartment is on one side, and they not just built. It was like 2 years ago they built this large condo, and this sign has been out there for the longest saying that they have condos available. And then on the left side they have these apartment complexes. They have had this sign out saying that um, they are accepting applications for you to lease, lease or rent. There are so many people that are looking for a place to stay that will just be told no because of what a computer said. Like on Good Times when James was trying to buy JJ that art set and that computer told him he can't get the art set because of his credit. You got all these empty buildings. Sandra D. you got all these empty buildings. And a computer can tell people who are working, no, you can't get a place here. I know you working. I see your pay stubs. I see you got your thing going on. But no, you can't give you an apartment here. Thank you. Thank you, Sandra D. So that's another thing with the people have been saying that for the longest. Like I said, that was an episode in Good Times when he went to buy JJ the art set and the computer told him no, you cannot get this art set. You can't buy anything because your credit is not to our standing. Happy Wednesday, or shall I say mitzvah? Mitzvah. So it's like, so now you're gonna have the computers telling people that they can't live in these places, but they're all empty. Y'all literally have signs up saying you're looking for someone to stay here. But here's the thing: if you're looking for the rich to purchase these places or rent these places, you're gonna be waiting for a long time because where I stay, the people who have good credit and have the money to do so, they're moving into the city because they're closer to the rail station and the buses and stuff, and then they don't have to worry about transportation. They don't have to worry about being stuck in traffic or anything like that. They can just hop on the bus and the train. That's where I stay. They are really changing over where the more wealthy ones are moving closer to the city, and then the ones who are like the working class, middle class, they're the ones that's moving a little bit further out. Why, I don't know, but whatever. It's just crazy to me how people have been saying for years, like, look at this, it's building up to something, it's building up to something. I was riding with my grandmother one day, and we was in the store, and she felt a little weak, and because I was with her, she didn't want to take the chance of being too weak and driving home, so she went over to the um what you call it, the little blood pressure. Well, it she didn't know it at the time. She went over to the pharmacy, and she asked could she sit down, and then she asked could someone uh, check her before she leaves out because she had her granddaughter with her and she felt weak. And they just direct her over to the machine. They was like, go over there and take your blood pressure. And she said, I don't know how to read that thing. Can one of y'all come over here and help me? And they was like, ma'am, just go over there and put your thing in there and your arm in there and it'll tell you your blood pressure. And I was young at the time, so I was like, "Oh boy, this is where I have to step in." That's a part of this whole thing. Like now, children are big, and it's like they don't know how to do regular things. They don't know how to step in for, you know, certain situations. But when I was young, and you was with your grandparents, you knew to step in. You knew, okay, this is gonna be me having to look out for my grandma. So when they was doing her, like, just go over there and put your arm in the cuff. It'll tell you what. I already knew right off the bat. I'm gonna be the one have to read this out to my grandmother. I'm gonna be the one have to read the chart, let her know if it's good or if it's normal, not normal, whatever. So I just went over there and was like, "Come on, Mama Emma." I call her Mama Emma. I was like, "Come on, Mama Emma. I'm gonna help you." So we got over there and she was looking at me. She was just depending on me in that moment. I was the grandchild, she was the grandmother, but she was looking at me like, you gonna have to tell me, Key. You gonna have to tell me. So we just went by the directions. I had to read the directions out to her, and I had to tell her what it said. When I told her what it said, she was so grateful that she had me with her because I was able to read out everything for her and I was able to tell her what the machine says on the chart if she was okay or not. When we got to the car, she just drank a little bit of water, whatever, and when she got ready to crank the car up, she said, pretty soon you're gonna have to drive for me, Key. And I just laughed at her because she drove a big Cadillac. So I was like, no. So we went on to the house and she was telling my uncle what happened. Like, I was a little sick in the store and Key had to read the machine for me. Y'all, and she said it then too. She said, them folks didn't even want to check me to make sure I was okay. And I tried to tell them I felt a little weak. And she said, they just shooed me off over there to that machine to check me. And she said, and I couldn't even hardly read that little print on that machine. She said, I just thank God that I had Key with me. Same thing, y'all. Same thing. That little blood pressure cuff machine uh was, it wasn't new, but it was still new to my grandmama, to the fact that she needed help with that machine, and the people were so dependent on just telling people to go to the machine that they couldn't even take a moment to step from the behind the counter and just help her. They saw that she was an elderly woman. They saw that she was saying that she was having trouble. She was feeling weak, and they just simply could not do that. They just shoot her off to the machine. The same thing these days. We're just being handed these machines, handed these gadgets, and just going by it like it's nothing. And we really need to start getting back into the habit of learning how to step up, even if we don't have a gadget. Step up. Um, like if we see someone that needs us, I'm glad Sandra D is in here too, because she was just taking care of somebody not too long ago. If we see somebody that needs help, step up. Don't depend on the machine. Don't depend on the computers and the technology or whatever. If we see that we can help in a way, we need to go ahead and step in and just help, because these things are taking over to the point where at any moment it could just shut off on you, and then what? And then what? Y'all, I wish I could show y'all now. I had to get me the regular manual blood pressure cuff, because when I had the digital one, it kept malfunctioning. It kept, well, it wasn't reading right. We have to get to a point where we may not be perfect at it, But we have to get to the point where we're not always depending on these gadgets that are being shoved in our faces. It starts out small and it always gets bigger and bigger and bigger. They are building up all these condos and all of these studio apartments everywhere, but we still have people homeless. We still have people that go to work every day and still feel the need to live in their cars. But we have all these condos being built up everywhere. They was building another condo somewhere, and I just kept trying to figure out, what are they building now? What are they building now? Because it just looked like a center block tower at first. And then as they kept building, I said, oh, they're building like a condo. And that's okay. And then I started thinking, I was like, but wait a minute. There's another condo over there, and it's still empty. They're still trying to get people to purchase. Thank you, Sandra D. You know I gotta say it. Look at me, I'm Sandra D. I love Sandra D, y'all. But I just, it behooves me that we have had a generation before us and the generation before them telling us, don't depend on all these gadgets. Don't depend on this, that, and the other. Matter of fact, my parents used to tell me, don't depend on another person. Don't always depend on, don't, especially my mama, don't be depending on no man. You better get your own. You better learn how to take care of yourself. It's okay to have a man that'll take care of you, but you learn how to take care of yourself, and learn how to survive without having all this extra stuff. So just like now with all these gadgets and computers and self checkout and the machine that'll clean the floor and the car that'll drive itself, y'all better understand that it's something bigger going on. It's something bigger going on when they take away your your ability to think on your own. When they're taking away your ability to be able to purchase something, they can stop your card. They can stop your card, y'all. You done worked hard for this. And people think I'm tripping when I say, when I was in the hospital, it was like a light bulb went off to me. I had been working since I was 15 years old. And then the moment I got sick and couldn't work anymore, my insurance stopped. Do y'all know I was in that hospital room sick and taking chemo and still back and forth on the phone with Social Security, seeing if they can at least get me on SSI or disability or something? Do you know they kept denying me even though I've been working since I was 15 years old? My first job was at McDonald's. Been working since I was 15. And the moment I got sick to the point where I couldn't work, I kept getting denied for any type of Social Security. But every time I got paid, they was taking out Social Security out of my check. So where's the money going to? Cedric D, you know I love you. Cedric D, when I see your videos where you dancing and you just smiling and having a good time, it does my heart some good. It does my heart some good. I love when you had your ponytail and your bang. But y'all, I just wanted to come in real quick and discuss with y'all that I'm hoping that now the generation after me will start to listen. Say, you know what, them old folks weren't so crazy after all. Cause they called me old. My son asked me the other day, did they have TVs when you was little? I said, what? I said, yeah, they had TVs when I was little. Then he said, what about video games? Did you have a video game when you was little? Or was it not invented yet? She cooks and rolls. Hello, hello. One of your lives you did, you had it where only your members could chat. I was like, ooh. But yep, I'm doing good. I hope you're doing good as well. Yep, I just wanted to come in here real quick, y'all, because I just really think it's important for us to start taking notice to how this generation that's coming up next. And I'm not trying to say that they're a bad generation or nothing like that, but it's like they're not understanding that we see something that they don't see. We see that they're taking away your ability to learn, your ability to do, your ability to even move your body more. I mean, it's getting to the point where they trying to give y'all lawnmowers that pushes itself. What? When I was growing up, that was another way we could make money. We would go around the neighborhood with a push lawnmower, and we would say, "Hey, I'll cut your grass for $20 or sometimes $10 during the summertime," and that's how we made our money. Thank you. That's how we made our money. And then when I was Eric the Burpee King is in the building. And then when I was a teenager, I made a lot of my money either cutting grass or taking out people's trash. Sometimes we knew in our neighborhood when I was growing up, we knew the elderly in our neighborhood and we actually watched out for them. Sometimes we'll get them a hard time by like walking through their grass or something like that or doing something we weren't supposed to be doing. But when it came down to it, they were still our elders in our neighborhood. So we would go up to their door and be like, "You got some trash you want me to take out for you?" And they would give us a little some. Sometimes the really nice ones, they'll give you a little money and they might give you a little snack. "Here you go, baby," and give you like a little bag of chips or something. They'll say, "Well, I know it's not much, but it was a lot to us." We would go back home and get on the sofa and like put out all the money we just made, all the snacks we just got, and we would just be dividing it up and everything. See, that taught us math too. We would sit there and divide it up. However many of us it was out there, we would divide it up equally. Now, now, what? You can't send your kids out there to do that now. They might not come home. It's a lot going on out there, y'all. I when I tell y'all we used to be able to make money during the summertime, doing little odd and end jobs, washing cars. Hello, you. It used to be a time where you can go out there and wash your neighbor's car and make some good money. And it taught you things. It taught you the proper way to wash a car. It taught you about money, about finances. It taught you self care because when you grow up later, you're gonna have your own car. You're gonna want to know how to wash your own car, right? So you getting your practice in because sure enough, them neighbors letting you wash their car, but trust and believe they're gonna come out there from time to time and say, "Nah, you gotta do the tires that way, baby." Yeah, you got to put that on the tires and put that right there. Yeah, they gonna show you the right way to do it, and then they might have you come every weekend. But now, talking about talking about the line up at the automatic car wash be so long, cause now everybody just drive through, get their car washed real quick, drive back out, vacuum out their car, and they gone about their business. So now we letting them. Now we gonna let the machine wash the car. So now that is taken away from the generation under us being able to wash a car properly. It used to be a time where you can go out there with your neighbors if you see them out there doing something they call like checking their oil or something. You can go out there and have a whole conversation with your neighbor. And at one time, I didn't even realize how the people around me were actually liking my company until one time my auntie went to my grandmama's house and she said, Key ain't came to see me in a couple of weeks. I thought I was getting on her nerves. I really thought that I was one of those young kids that was getting on my auntie's nerves and the elderly around me nerves because if I was walking down the street bouncing my basketball or something, they'll be telling me, "Where you going with all that noise or whatever?" And I stop bouncing my ball or whatever. But sometimes I would go all in their driveway. If they sitting outside, I used to go in their driveway, speak to them, ask them what they doing. If I saw one of them out there changing oil, checking the oil on their car, I'd be like, how you doing that? That's how I learned about oil. Believe it or not, me being that kid is what taught me what that dipstick was and how they wipe it out first and then put it back in. Then they check and see how much oil they got in the car. I learned that by being a nosy kid and by checking on the elders in my neighborhood. I don't think I don't even think it was nothing that we were taught. I'm like I said, I'm 45, so I don't even think it was nothing that we were taught. I think it was just something we just did in our generation. Like we would sit out. We had these green electric boxes out in some people's yards, and we used to just sit out on the electric box sometimes and hang out, or we would just go outside and play basketball, and we would speak to our neighbors. We would speak. We would ask them if they need something. Like if the summertime coming up and we knew we was gonna want something before school start, we would just start asking. We like nobody taught us to do that. Nobody told us to do that. I don't think. I just know that we used to just be like, "Hey, Mr. Johnson, I see your grass need cutting. I'll do it for you for the low. I'll do it for you for the low ski. $20 and I got you. I'll bring my own lawnmower." Like that's just how we were. Oh, you're 48. Okay. So you so you grew up like around the time I was growing up. Like that's just something we did. We were always trying to find a way to make some money. And then when I found out about the workers permit at school, oh, you talking about somebody that nagged they counselor. I was on my counselor. I was like, so, so what's going on with my application? What's like, what all I got to do to get my workers permit? I was on her every time I saw her in the hallway. Any word back on that work permit? It was we was always trying to make money. We was always trying to figure out a way we can do. I remember when the first person in our neighborhood got a car. Of course, they had rules. Don't be having everybody up in your car. No speeding. No this. No that. Whatever. So it was one of those things where we were happy for our friend who got their first car because we already knew this was just one step for all of us to gain independence. So if one of us missed the bus or something, we would actually go over there and be like asking his parents, "Can I ride with him to school today? I missed the bus." That's why I love using that song. I missed the bus. Ow, for y'all that know my shorts. But we actually had one of our friends to get his car when as soon as he turned 16. And if we missed the bus or if anything happened, we would ask permission from his parents. Can we ride to school with them? Or like if we needed to run to the store really quick, the gas station was right down the street. We would ask his parents, like, can he please take me to the store? I need to get this for my mama, or I need to get this before dinner or whatever. And it just worked out for everybody. But I will never forget getting my first job at 15. I'm kind of mad about it now because, like I said, as soon as I got sick, it was almost like I had never worked before. I had never paid into Social Security or anything, and as soon as I got sick, it was like, what do you mean you need some Social Security? I'm like, I can't work anymore. How can I pay a medical bill and I can't work? Like, how is this gonna happen? But I was told when I was younger, save, save, save. You can't always depend on this. You can't always depend on them telling you this is gonna be here set to the side for you when you get here. I was always told that. Don't depend on this, don't depend on that. Get out there, work for what you want, save, save, save. Even when the computers first became popular, yes, I grew up in that age where dial up. When the internet come out. I grew up in the era of the floppy disk where we had to actually put a floppy disk in the computer and we played like number munchers and stuff like that. So I remember being told then, don't always depend on the computer to do your math work. Learn how to figure it out. Learn how to get you a piece of paper and and write it out. And I never thought twice about it. That's why I can't even blame this generation, because I know when I was younger, I never thought twice about it when we were being told like, don't always depend on the computer, don't always depend on your calculator. Learn how to figure out the problem. Learn how to look for those keywords when you're doing a word problem. And yep, here we go. Now you're walking around and you're seeing gadgets doing everything. I mean, doing everything. And you're sitting there like, man, what's going to happen to somebody like me? I love working with my hands. I love being outside. I love doing things. I love creating. So, what's going to happen when a machine can do everything that I could do? Everything. Y'all, I just had to come in here and do this video because I saw that short. It was a short. So if y'all run across it, y'all will know exactly what I'm talking about. All this whole conversation this whole conversation comes from me seeing this video that was sent to my text, where this guy was riding down the highway and his Cybertruck, his Tesla, shut off on him in the middle of the highway. And it just made me think like, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? We are living in a world where they could just shut you down. They could shut your credit card down. They could shut your car down. They could shut your job down. They could say, "Oh, we got a computer that could do that now." So you have been released from your position. Yes, that's what I said. Wow, wow. So just imagine if you make somebody mad in a position that's higher than you. If you upset someone, and not even something legit or whatever the case may be, just if you get on somebody's bad side, just imagine what all they can do to you if they are in a higher position. They can shut you down. Just like a lot of people be looking at me crazy because I talk about this whole YouTube thing. Y'all, I literally watched my numbers continue to plummet, even though I was seeing the opposite on my chart. Like I was seeing I get more watch hours. I was seeing that the attention span is a little longer on my lives. I was seeing I was getting more interaction and everything out. I'm looking at all of this. My hours went from in the thousands, to now at 800 and something. You can't tell me that ain't something else going on with that. There is no way, no way that I'm doing more videos, more lives, getting more interaction. And now my hours go from in the thousands to 820, 830. And it's just bouncing back and forth, 820, 830, 820, 830. But I'm putting out more content and I'm getting more interaction. Y'all, I don't know if it's a glitch in the system or whatever the case may be, but this is what I meant when I said I was not going to be depending on this platform to be my all in all, because I did not want to feel like I was leaving out of one rat race and going into another one. I don't want to feel like I have to keep pushing harder, 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 and pushing myself to the point of exertion. And the negative comments and the feedback that I get sometimes is so discouraging. I was not finna keep on this rat race to try to make a penny. Yes. To, and all for pennies. So when I tell y'all that I'm not, if I'm sick, I'm sick. You're not gonna see me on. You have some people that be like, I get on here every day, no matter what, no matter what. Well, that's you, baby. But I done worked since I was 15 years old, and I'm not trying to put myself in no early cemetery. I'm not trying to overdo myself. I just can't. If I'm having a hard day, I'm having a hard day, and y'all not gonna see me on here. If I'm feeling weak and tired, they already put me in premenopause when they did my treatment and everything. If I'm feeling hot and bothered and irritated, I'm not gonna get on here. I'm not gonna push myself. For what? So they can take it all away? Take it all back? My health comes first. Well, I'm not even gonna say my health comes first. My creator comes first. So if I feel like I'm getting to the point where I'm disrespecting my morals, then I'm gonna pull back. Then my health, my family. But if I feel like I gotta shake my tail half naked or be cussing every other word to get y'all attention, or if I feel like I gotta be on here begging for attention, I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. I could do my creativity. I could do what I feel like is right for me. That's why I like She Cooks and Roasts. There, when I tell y'all, very creative, very creative. I love just watching you and watching what you bring to the table. But y'all, I just feel like, me personally, if the algorithm is not going to pick up on what I'm putting down, then I'm not going to sell my soul. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to get on here and do what I feel like is the trend all the time. Because sometimes I look at a trend and I be like, oh, I could do that. And then I listen to the words in the trend and I be like, whoa, whoa, whoa. They don't have an instrumental. I'll try to find an instrumental or something like that. I be like, whoa, I don't. It's a trend going on now that I know I could do. I know I could do it. I told y'all I'm from the land of the Freaknik. I could do a lot of these trends. But when I started listening to the words and I started seeing some of the videos where people actually have their kids doing it and stuff, and I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. Did they not hear the words? Did they not hear the words? Now, when it go that far, I can't do it. I know how far I've come. When it comes to saying certain things, I know how far I've come. I used to be that one that can tell you where to go and how to get there and would stand on business. I don't want to go there no more. I'm too old for that. Now I just want to sit here, relax, watch a little TV or watch a little news or something. Have my little soda from time to time. Drink my water and be happy. That's what I want to do. I ain't got time for all this extra. I ain't got time to be pushing myself and trying to do back bends to just to get a little something, something. I can't. If you don't like it, keep scrolling. That's the way I put it now. If you don't like it, keep scrolling. Cause the old me gonna come out one of these days if I get one more nasty comment. And y'all ain't gonna like it. Yeah, I can't do all the trends. Some of them I try to do just so I can get my videos out there in the algorithm, but I can't do all the trends. I can't. Cause when I step back and look at what they doing and the words that's in the song, I be like, am I the only one that's hearing what it's saying? And I grew up with Luke. And anybody who know what I'm talking about know Uncle Luke. I grew up listening to Luke and Kilo. So I'm not by any means trying to make it seem like I ain't been down that road. But I will say this, things are just a little bit more in your face now. Mm-hmm. And we just gotta, y'all, we gotta stay prayed up. These new things that are coming out and things that are inching into our children's spiritual, uh, I don't even know what word I'm looking for. Cause I used to tell my kids all the time, before you play a game or something, say a prayer over yourself, ask God for protection. And I had one child that laughed at me every time I said it, and they thought it was a joke. And to this day, you could see it all over that child. That just they let their peers get to them. They let what they was watching and listening to get to them. And as a parent, you could do all you can. I don't think I ever heard a parent in my life say, I wanted my child to be this crazy. But hey, it is what it is. Oh yeah, I grew up listening to Uncle Luke and Kilo Ali. I come from the land of the Freaknik. But when I tell you we were warned growing up, we were warned and we did not take heed. And even with that music then, I remember the generation before us used to say, it's gonna get worse. That music gonna get worse. And it did. And it did. We used to watch TV, and when we was watching TV, it was a big ordeal came out because when I was younger, they had started showing couples in the bedroom together, in the bed together, just sleep or whatever, or just waking up or whatever. I think the Cosby Show was one of them where they started showing the mom and the dad in the bed. And that was a big deal to the generation before me because when they were growing up, they did not show couples in the bed. They showed them in twin beds, like I Love Lucy. They showed them in twin beds. And yes, it did. It woo. When I hear some music, I be like, okay, I can vibe to that. I can vibe to that. And then I started listening close, and I be like, well, can't. I can't do it with a good conscience. I can't. And when I see the kids dancing to it, it hurts my heart. It hurts my heart because even when that music was out when I was growing up, it used to be an adult around there to say, sit your tail down somewhere, or or we couldn't even play certain music at family reunions out of respect for the elders that was sitting in the family reunion. Do anybody else remember those days? If you was at a family reunion or a family gathering and somebody was playing the music and one of their songs came on, or some pops that if something like that came on, they would be running over there telling them, turn it off, turn it off, turn it off. And they would have to play something else. They would have to play some I'll teach you the electric slide. It's electric. Out of respect. Out of respect. And I love the fact that I grew up like that because it gave me a sense of morals. It gave me a sense of standards. Y'all, but when I tell you, when I saw that video where that man was so, he looked like everything had been taken from him. And he had people in the comments telling him it was all his fault and that he probably missed a payment. He's standing there looking like, man, I can't even move to the side of the road. That was his thing. His thing was, I can't even move to the side of the road. And people was busy in that moment telling him, you shouldn't have missed the payment, or you should have uh contacted the dealer, or what. They would just tell him all this different stuff. But his thing in that moment was, I can't even move out the road. So my question to people now, I'm not even gonna say to the youth, because it's people my age that still don't get it. People my age still don't get. Do you know how many times I have met somebody in their 40s that still have this mindset of, I gotta have everything that Sue down the street got, or I gotta do everything that one over there doing? You still don't get it. You still don't get it. Your life is to live your life and not live somebody else's life. Just learn how to love people, pray for people, and live the life that you have been given. Stop trying to catch up with the Joneses. That man in that moment, he wanted to know, how can he at least move to the side of the road to get out of harm's way. Yeah, it is like on a blurred. I feel like when it comes to respect, I feel like as a child, I want to go up, because when I was a child, I feel like I learned how to respect people by watching the people around me. I watched how my grandmother respected the people in the streets. I will never forget, and I think I've told this story before. I will never forget when a lady that was out there in the streets, she was smelling like the streets, looking like the streets, came in like smelling like liquor and everything else. She didn't come into the house, but she came up to the porch step, and she asked my grandmama. She said, "Granny," she said, "how you doing today?" And she said, "You got anything to eat?" I watched my grandma respect her enough to tell her. She said, "Yeah, I'm gonna go back there and fish you a sandwich and some, see what I got going on back there." She said, "But let me tell you this: if you're gonna be out there in the street, you gotta remember you still a woman." She said, "Now take it from me." She said, "You still a woman. I need you to go bathe your tail, and I need you to clean yourself up good. You still a woman, okay?" And she told that woman of the streets, she said, "I love you, but I love you enough to tell you that you always treat yourself like a young lady." She went to the back. She fixed her two big old sandwiches, put her a big hunk of chips on that plate. She put another plate on top of that plate, and she came back to the door, and she, before she handed her the plate, she said, "Now, now tell me, you finna go bathe your tail." She said, "I am. I'm finna go take a bath right now." She said, "Go bathe. Go look at yourself in the mirror, comb your hair and everything, and treat yourself like you love yourself." And to me, in that moment, I felt like that was my grandmother's way of loving on somebody and respecting somebody who other people felt like were lower than them. She loved her enough and respected her enough to tell her. She didn't say, uh, "Go take a bath." That's just how my grandmama was. She said, "Go bathe your tail. Go bathe your tail. Sit down and eat. Look at yourself in the mirror. Comb your hair." To me, that was respect. And it did go both ways, because this young lady who was in the streets, known for being in the streets, known for being out there, she looked at my grandmother and she told her, "I love you too, Granny. Thank you. Thank you." She said, "I love you too." She said, "But I promise you I'm finna go do that now." And it was a few hours after that, I was still sitting on the porch. And when she came back up the street, she hollered on the porch and said, "Hey, Granny, hey, Granny." And she said, "Hi there." She said, "I I did it, I did it. And my grandmama said, now that's the girl I know. So it was a form of respect that went both ways. So then as I grew up a little bit older, I started to get another understanding with respect when it came to my teachers and the people around me. And my daddy had to teach me that even if you think you're right, it's just certain levels of respect that you give, and you will start to notice that these people will start to respect you even though you're younger. And he was right, because when I had this attitude of uh cause I'm right, you ain't gonna tell me what to do, and I felt like if I talked louder, if I got sassy, they was gonna hear me, blah blah blah. Everything always went totally left. It went totally wrong. But when I started to grow and I started to learn how to talk to my teachers, and I started to learn to kind of approach them out the class, not in front of the whole class, approach them out the class and just let them know, like, I didn't feel right when you said this to me, or I just don't understand this part. And when I started talking to them like that, I noticed that the respect was exchanged equally, because they respected me a little bit more. They talked to me better when I was able to approach them better. And like I said, the respect went both ways. I was able to respect them more in class because I had that moment to talk to them without being in front of the whole class and without being all rowdy and all talky. And when I got to the point where I learned how to respect my teachers and talk to them as if they were the adults and I wasn't the adult, I learned that that's when they started to respect me and give me uh that little I don't know, like it's almost like they were willing to hear me out more. They were willing to hear me out more when I came to them differently. So it was all in the matter of approach, just like with my grandmother. It was all in the matter of approach. That young lady came up there and asked for some food. She looked like she may have been high out of her mind or whatever. But it was the way my grandmama told her. She didn't say, "Oh, you stink. You need to get out from over here." Da 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 da. She told her, "Baby, I love you, but I want to let you know you need to go bathe your tail and you need to take care of yourself. I love you. I love you enough to tell you." And that's how I learned about respect. I learned that respect does go both ways, but it's all in your delivery. Do you respect the person enough to um, consider their feelings? Do you respect the person enough to understand that maybe they may not be where you want them to be right now, but they are willing to hear you out if you come at them differently? That's the way I feel about respect, and I learned that from watching my granny. And I was the type of girl that grew up watching my grandparents. I stayed up under my grandparents. I talk about my grandparents all the time because they was a big part of my life. Um, my mom and dad, they weren't the type that always leave me with my grandparents, but I was the child that always wanted to go be with my grandchildren. I was the child that during the summertime, if I got too bored, I would hop on the MARTA bus and go to my grandparents' house. And I learned about respect. I learned about hard work. I learned a lot by being around my grandparents. But y'all, I'm not gonna hold y'all up. I just wanted to make a quick video where I just wanted to talk about, will they listen now? Now that your cars are shutting down on you, now that your cars are driving off the road with the automatic steering, now that the machines are taking over your jobs, now that they are able to shut your bank accounts down, uh, now that they are able to send you a ticket in the mail. Thank you so much. That mean a lot coming from you. She cooks and roasts. That mean a lot coming from you because you put your everything into your lives. I just wanted to come in here real quick when I saw that video. Somebody sent it to me in text and asked me what do I think about it, and I said I'll do a video. But that's exactly what I think about it. Will they listen now? My generation was told to listen. The generation before me was told to listen. Somebody at some point got to listen because now the machines and the computers are taking over and they are able to shut you down in the middle of the highway. What if somebody would have hit that car? Or what if somebody would have hit him as soon as he stepped out because he stepped out when he was doing the video? Will somebody listen? Will somebody listen? Well, I hope you guys enjoyed me ranting and venting. I know that y'all are used to me doing my language learning. I'm going to do another video explaining why I don't do them every day the way I started. But if I said anything to hurt anybody or to make anyone feel bad, I do apologize. I'm sorry. I'm just speaking from the heart. And yeah, this was just on my heart to say with that video. I just hope somebody listens. And with that being said, y'all know how I do it. Gracias por ver. Thanks for watching. Adios. Bye.